the tail, the anti-tail, the jet towards the sun, changing direction to away from the sun. So
they said it's not acting like a comet.
Right, changing directions and whatnot.
Right. So that's why they think it's something other than, right?
The question is why, and of course, one possibility is that the sun-facing side is releasing ices that evaporate, so they never get to live long enough, those fragments of ice, in order to be pushed behind the object the way that we find in comets. But somehow, as the object got closer to the sun, the nature of the outflow coming off it changed, and that would be a natural origin for that. But there is also a
quick, if we could talk about a little more with where the object is in relation to, it's almost at the point of reaching its closest point to the sun. And when that date happens, do you have any advice for folks about, what they need to plan on doing? I think that would be good.
Yeah, so on October 21st, that was a couple of days ago, it was in solar conjunction relative to Earth, meaning exactly on the opposite side of the sun. So if you were looking at the sky that day and seeing the sun up there, you can imagine 3i Atlas just behind it, perfectly behind it, so we can't observe it for sure. And we can't observe it throughout the month of October, actually, because it's so close to the sun, perhaps for a reason. If it was trying to avoid us noticing that it releases mini probes or doing some maneuver, that would be the perfect timing.
But this is something that I found that while I was viewing this, I noticed this. Let me see if I can get right at that point.
A flaming chunk of suspected space junk has crashed.
It appears to be real.
Now, if you notice, this is for the Australian police force, but look at its symbol. You know what that symbol is? Let me see. I'll bring up. That's the symbol of this Australian police force, right? I saw this in the background when I was looking at this video.
It's a star.
Right. It's a star. What kind of star is it?
I think it's Star David.
Nope. So, here's another picture of it. This is the police badge. You can see it a little more clearer here, right?
Is that a demonic symbol?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
See, this society is heavily into the occult, and people don't realize that. Why is that their symbol? Right?
But what were the two monsters or something? It was like something in between.
Well, right. Oh, that looked like
kangaroos or something.
Kangaroos, yeah, because it's Australia.
Australian, yeah.
But this is that same symbol.
Wow.
Right.
But some of that looked like it's a Masonic.
Oh yeah. Well, the Eastern Stars have that. So.
Okay.
They sure do.
Yeah, they sure do, right? Yeah. But this is even that, and then it got crazier because as I'm sitting there, I'm seeing other things, and this pops up. Wait a second.
The courage to crawl through gunfire to your fallen friends.
There it is again. But that's the medal. That's the Medal of Honor. This is supposed to be the highest medal that you can get in the armed forces.
Is that British or that's okay?
No, this is like this American. Well, American. Then it look like I don't know if this is American too, but it's the same. It's the same symbol, right?
They are.
Yeah, same symbol. But I found that interesting. But this is the Medal of Honor. It's the highest military decoration of the United States. awarded for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty. Presented by the president, it recognizes U.S. service members for acts of valor. All right. Now, this is what I wanted you to hear, because you said something about it could be possibly AI, right? This is a lady. She was an assistant to a man named Werner von Braun. She was his assistant, and this guy was a member of something they call Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip is when the U.S. government took those scientists from Germany and brought them to the United States and got them to continue their work that they were doing in Germany, right?
AKA fake alien. What is that?
Now watch, because this sounds very interesting. Watch, listen to this, right?
Good morning. My name is Carol Rosin. In 1974, after being a sixth grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Werner von Braun in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him during that first 3.5 hours, he said to me, Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space. And I said, teachers don't stop until June. He said, no, you have to understand, this is February, and we have to prevent the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians.
So that was the first threat. They talk about the Cold War, that type of stuff. So this guy, he was, he worked with the government, all right, in a high-ranking position, all right. But he was warning her that this is the stuff that they were going to do later on.
And then he's on the line.
No, he's here. Mm-hmm.
There are many enemies, he said, against whom we're going to build this space-based weapon system. The first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then that
was the next thing. Terrorists, yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Created that whole thing.
Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. So that whole, right? But then,
I'm sorry. The man wants me to make some copies over there.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. It's like, sister, you're the way.
Thank you.
Is Dennis out there?
You might have to pre-order. Did you have to pre-order?
You supposed to, but I didn't pre-order. And I got the last fish, so they're cooking up some more fish. So if you want to order something, you can order. It's only $10. Nice size.
would be third world countries. Now we call the road nations or nations of concern.
World nations, like they would say, Korea, right? North Korea.
What year is this?
I don't remember what year when she made the speech, but this was in 1974 that he told this stuff to her.
Then there would be asteroids.
And they talked about that. Talk about asteroids possibly hitting Earth and all that kind of stuff, right? But now here's what she said he told her was the final card.
And then he would repeat to me over and over. And the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat. Well, at the time, I kind of laughed when he said asteroids, and when he said extraterrestrials, I knew I wasn't going to deal with that subject. And now we hear on the news just today, this week, that they've slid in another enemy. Only this time we're going to protect our satellites. In other words, we have to have some reason to spend.
All right. But now she was saying this, but now watch this. But I'm not saying this is what you said you missed.
Was it 2001?
Let's see.
Thank you.
Let me see. Yeah, 2001. That was from 2001. She told us the Space Force will be under the pretense of a lie. Fast forward to 2019, 2020, and who's just now created the Space Force? Mm-hmm. Your current CEO of the U.S. Trump, right? But now watch. (2019) the made it official.
Space. Going to be a lot of things happening in space. Because space is the world's newest warfighting domain. Amid grave threats to our national security, American superiority in space is absolutely vital. And we're leading, but we're not leading by enough, but very shortly we'll be leading by a lot. The Space Force will help us deter aggression and control the ultimate high ground. With today's signing, I will proudly appoint General J. Raymond, the first Chief of Space Operations, and he will become the very first member of the Space Force, and he will be on the Joint Chiefs. He will be on the Joint Chiefs, which we're now expanding by one position. That's a very powerful position. So, General Raymond, congratulations, and thank you for everything you've done.
So they unveiled the flag.
We've worked very hard on this, and it's so important from a defensive standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, from every standpoint there is.
Let me just say it's a very historic moment. The United States has been a spacefaring nation for decades, but we know that our adversaries in the last several years have weaponized space. They've made it a warfighting domain. And so with the establishment of Space Force...
Why does he look like he don't know what's going on?
Because he don't.
And establishment of Space Command, the United States is now doing what it needs to do to protect our assets in space and to ensure that space remains the heavens by which we not only protect America, but we sustain our economy, we sustain our commercial capabilities, we sustain Americans' way of life.
Very, very great honor. It's a great honor. That's a beautiful flag to bring it home.
Like his first time seeing it.
It's really
Mm.
That's a big day. That's a big day.
The delta in the middle is the symbol that the space community has used for years and years and years. The North Star signifies our core value, our guiding lights, if you will. And the orbit around the globe signifies the space capabilities that fuel our American way of life and our American way of war.
And you gotta remember, there's thousands and thousands of satellites in space.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Whatever happened to Star Wars?
Oh yeah, remember
From Reagan's time.
Well, see, he's talking about the program they had done. But now, I want to couple what she said to what this guy said, right? I don't know how the sound will be. This is interesting, right?
The world population summed in climate Egypt had 160 nations participate. We were all agreed that the human population was out of control and must be stopped because the world is not.
So you heard it said.
Yeah, the human population is out of control.
True.
Must be stopped.
But this is a new idea. It started in the
Oh, no.
1700s
Nope.
by Britain. This guy's a British guy. I don't know what's his name. I keep forgetting on top of my head. But he proposed this.
Eugenics.
He proposed that doing calculation at a
Oh,
certain
Malthus.
time. Yeah, something.
Malthus.
That at a certain time, the population would exceed food production of the world. And he zeroed in that Africa was the key to it.
Well, I'm gonna show you something interesting called NSSM 200. But the thing is that this is what the elite feels. Go ahead, good brother.
Oh, well, his theory, the Quran contradicts that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Allah said he provides for all of us, all of his creatures.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you know, they're anti-God.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
Well, that's why
He's
got
wrong.
seeds and all this stuff because
They want to control food.
Uh-huh.
They want to control food. But now watch. So listen. So let's tie some stuff into population reduction, right?
Out of resources. An agreement was formed that would lead to reduction of humans.
Is that an agreement?
That's a doc. That's a lot up there. It's hot in that.
Yeah, I think it may have been because they said it was in Egypt. But no, I think they said it was 84.
It was from the mandated intelligence
He was assassinated in 81.
by the
So they said they want to reduce population by 800 million.
2030.
year 2030. This was finding a methods for about nearly 95% of the population. So this is what's investigated, tested, and created, and then true force since. The procedures have been inflicted onto the human race are as follows. 1. Toxic levels of chemically enhanced fluoride have been simply added to
Right?
Mhm.
Talk about
Right in
fluoride.
the
Mhm.
water, whether you want it or not.
Absolutely.
Put fluoride
And the thing is that on your toothpaste, what does it say? Only use a small, only consume a, hey,
Walaikum
Walaikum Assalam, how
assalam.
are you? Only consume a pea-sized amount. If you do what? Who you got to contact?
Not
Nope.
poison control.
Poison
That's
control
what
center.
poison control.
Poison control,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I try to do fluoride.
But yet, right. But then when they show you the commercial, when they use toothpaste, they put like a big ice cream cone on the toothbrush, right? And people do what they see. All right. And then again, your skin is the largest organ on your body, right? So you're absorbing that water when you shower. So you back.
particularly over the last 20 years. Every city and community on the planet.
No, we good. Yes.
Sound.
And community on the planet. I personally oversaw and delivered fluoride banners to Denver, Chicago, Tampa, and Minneapolis water departments. The adverse effects of fluoride poison to the human body are numerous and debilitating.
And remember, years ago, Harvard did a study on fluoride and found out that it lowers people's IQ. Okay?
The effects to children is damage to their neurological development, among other serious ailments. 2. Man-made viruses and diseases.
Man-made viruses and diseases.
AKA COVID.
Mm-hmm.
AIDS virus, which is a designer byproduct of the American Disease Institute, was distributed through vaccines to the public in 1980. Instituted as a preliminary population control tactic, the results were successful and led to more lab-produced viruses that have since been unleashed onto the public.
And the thing is that I compiled evidence of all the stuff that he's saying, especially in Africa,
Yeah, HIV.
right? Yep.
The claim some monkey bit somebody and all this
Mhm.
stuff. Oh my God.
Among those is the development of a mutated version of the common flu.
You hear that? Creating a mutated version of the common
Common
flu.
flu.
That's
Mhm.
that's your COVID.
Well, you know, my grandson took the COVID thing 2 years ago, and he got what they call long COVID.
Mm.
He's totally disabled.
Mm.
And now COVID shot. Now he's totally disabled.
Well, what people don't know is that they were doing simulations. Okay, and in one of the simulations, they talked about years later, people would be getting sick, and they wouldn't attribute it to the shot. Okay, because it would have been so long ago that they didn't attribute to that, giving them that.
Let me tell you something more realistic. In 1972, when I was a biochemistry major at Temple University, I noticed at that time we had Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh, Nkrumah, Nasser, all of these people who were revolutionaries against American government was coming down with cancer. So I asked my chemistry teacher, Dr. Stutler, I said, Dr. Stutler, because this in my head was coming out, can you give somebody cancer and it don't show up until a couple of months later? And he said, he mad. You can give him something that won't show up for years. He told me this and out of his mouth in 1972. Wow. Because I was noticing all the black leaders were dying. You know, revolutionary leaders, all these men were dying. Nasser going down the line, Africa, and all that. Ho Chi Minh, Mao Zedong, and they all died of esophagus cancer. So I asked the question, I posed it like, can you swallow something to give you cancer? And that's when he brought in the timeline, which I hadn't even figured. I just noticing that all the men were getting cancer in a system where from the mouth to the anus. And this is what he said.
Wow.
And he was a chemistry professor at Temple. So that they had done some research on that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm gonna show the sister I'm gonna show you something, sister, because
To replicate the 1918 influenza pandemic that killed 40 million people. The first strain of this new flu virus will be released to the public in late 2017.
he said 2017.
How about that?
How about that date?
So 2020 is when.
Yeah, we was in full-fledged lockdown.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
we? Yeah.
Well, around 2017. Yeah.
Somewhere in there?
No, it was 2019.
2019, 20, yeah.
So if we see a flu outbreak in late 2017 or early 2018, that's anything.
He said, or early 2018. And that's when, 2018 is when Fauci announced that the Trump administration would face a pandemic.
We'll know this is true.
He said, we'll know that it's true, that this is what happens.
What year was this?
That
Right
he
here.
did this? I'm not too sure. But it was around the time they talked about Agenda 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
3. Killing us from the air with neurotoxin.
Putting stuff in the air. Talking about your chemtrails. Okay? So the chemtrails, you'll see a plane leave this long, thin line.
Yeah.
Right? And then next thing you know, it spreads out and starts looking like a cloud. Right? They even start putting it in kids' cartoons so that kids would
It looked normal.
look normal.
Till they grow up thinking it's normal. Yeah.
Barium chloride.
Barium chloride.
Now he said containing barium chloride. Remember, I showed you the news story where the guy was collecting, and what did he say it was?
Yeah,
When
barium.
they took it to the
Yeah,
took
they
it
got
to the lab.
analyzed. Yeah.
It was barium.
Yeah.
Right?
Some microbes and viruses by way of chemtrails. Released into the skies daily over all inhabited regions by military aircrafts. The effects of these toxins are severe and over time lethal, causing respiratory illness,
Causing respiratory illness and cancer.
cancer, damage to the immune systems, and sterilization in men.
Damage to the immune systems and sterilization in men.
Since the chemtrail plan was implemented, sperm count in men has dropped nearly 50%. If this isn't reversed soon, the human race will face early extinction. Now the grand finale.
Yeah. Gave you all of that.
But I don't even want to hear it.
Now, check out the grand finale. Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead. Get it over with. Grand finale.
This is some scary shit.
He said this is some scary stuff.
He had shit.
He said some scary stuff.
In March 1997, an event known as the Phoenix Lights.
1997.
I remember
Thing
that.
happened called the Phoenix Lights, right? Where they saw this big, massive UFO, right? Even the mayor had seen it, right? They even did a documentary about it. Okay, watch.
Became the most infamous UFO sighting in history. A mile-wide vessel, clearly not man-made.
A mile-wide vessel, clearly not man-made.
Flew slowly and silently over the state of Arizona and was witnessed by 10,000 people.
Flew over Arizona and was witnessed by 10,000 people.
The mothership.
All right.
The mothership.
Watch this, y'all. Watch where he's going with this.
Including the governor of Arizona.
Oh, governor, not the mayor, governor.
To date, there has been no reasonable explanation. But for everyone this interview, the craft was as real as anything they'd ever seen. Their lives were transformed. They now believe that we truly are not alone. However, there is another truth, for I know what they really saw.
said, well, I know what they really saw. Right? Here we go, y'all.
1986, while stationed at an underground installation near Boulder, Colorado, I was introduced to Project Skybeam by Lieutenant General Andrew Garrison.
He was introduced to something called Project Skybeam, or they call it Project Bluebeam. Okay?
I was then led down a corridor and into a large hangar where a stealth bomber hovered only 20 feet above me. I stood there confused, and Garrus looked over at me and smiled, and asked if I was certain of what I was seeing. I replied, of course. What else could it be? I was then shocked to find out that this wasn't a real craft. It was a projected hologram.
Oh, it's a hologram.
It was a hologram.
It's a hologram, right?
So they wanted
So they
to
was
create
tricking the
panic.
Oh, man, watch.
Yeah.
Because you on it, sister. But watch. Watch what he says.
And then the movies,
Playing it.
Independence Day, and all that start coming out.
Yeah, right?
Since the early 1950s, scientists have been developing holographic technology.
Since the 50s, he said they were developing holographic technology.
And over the years, improved it to a state that we can only imagine. As I stood there staring at the bomber, which looked so absolutely real and solid that I could reach up and touch it, I contemplated the possibilities. What if this projection was 1,000 feet up in the sky?
He said, what if this projection was 1,000 feet up in the sky? Because he's seeing this bomber and he thought it was real, right?
How would anyone know that that was an illusion? Phoenix Lights craft, witnessed by 10,000 people, was the first grand-scale skybeam test upon the public. It succeeded beyond expectations. In October 1938, Orson Welles released its war-to-war radio broadcast in the American public.
And remember, when Orson Welles did that radio broadcast, people thought it was a real alien invasion, right?
It was so realistically portrayed, vast portions of the population went into panic. Terrified citizens scrambled to evacuate their city through droves. America had been easily tricked by very simple means. To amplify this response, those who are truly in power, not only our country, but all the countries on the planet, and who are the true purveyors of the depopulation process, have formulated the final stage of their sinister plan. In the year 2024,
He says in the year 2024,
a global event will alter the course of mankind's future. The world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a global panic. Real military crafts within the holograms will inflict actual damage in the surrounding areas to some.
you know what he said? He said real military aircraft would be within the hologram and would drop bombs to make it seem like it was some sort of alien invasion.
So when did that actually happen?
No, he's talking about something that he said around 2024. Well, remember he said the other one was like 2017 to early 2018. But now, hey, sister.
Hey, yeah, what are you doing in here?
He was,
You left me outside. E-Man said they wasn't going to be selling no produce this week.
Yeah.
I didn't know it till today because I was stuck in the produce out there. Excuse me, people.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
so in other words, this event didn't happen.
It didn't happen yet.
You got it.
If it's gonna happen, because remember now they're talking about this thing is approaching Earth. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, you don't know what these people got up their sleeve.
That's what I'm saying. Now I was like, should I show them this? I was hesitant, but I said, let me show you so that if something does take
just
place,
in case,
you would know the game, right?
Like E-Man said, comes to magic.
How many can finish the hologram? Hologram was real.
You can't.
You can't.
Especially if this thing is 1,000 feet in the air,
Right.
and they did a test where you got 10,000 people seeing this UFO, and they're like thinking it's real, whereas even the government would thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
So
the real is just a bubble above the hologram.
they have real military have
above it.
within the hologram.
Wow.
They're dropping a bomb.
They dropped the bomb. Now I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But now watch.
So you don't think it's the government, you think it's aliens.
You think it's aliens.
Right.
Right?